Welcome back to Black News Tonight. When it comes to putting on for her city, this Brooklyn native does just that. I'm talking about Kerry Coddett, whom in the role of Jasmine lends hometown knowledge on Showtime's new comedy, Flatbush Misdemeanors. The narrative of the series also tackles issues around race and gentrification. Joining us now to talk about this and much more is a Flatbush Brooklyn native, the writer, the comedian, the community activist, Kerry Coddett. Thank you so much for joining me. And she's Millie Rocker. What's up? Good to see you.
Hi, Mark. Good to see you.
Yo, I love this show. Please tell everybody about. I'm good. Tell us about Flatbush Misdemeanors, because you are a co-star. You are a writer. It's amazing. Tell us about it.
Yeah, sure. It's a show about two dudes who are not from Flatbush, but they moved to Flatbush. And it's basically about these two friends that find themselves into all these different scenarios with people in the community. And what's dope about the show is that there are authentic Flatbush and Brooklyn people on it, in terms of the character and the cast. And I'm from Brooklyn. And so writing on the show and being on it allowed me to lend authenticity to it, especially being a Caribbean girl. And we have so many different Caribbean characters on the show. So it's really dope, and I'm really excited about it.
Talk to me about that thing, because, you know, there's a lot of great shows. I'll give you an example. The Wire, for me, is the greatest show ever made. I love The Wire. I appreciate The Wire. I love the authenticity of it. But then there's some folk who's supposed to be from Baltimore that had, you know, New York accents, you know, or Jersey accents. Who would want that, right? So when I think about the Brooklynness of this show and the Flatbushness of this show, how important was that for getting the authentic perspective, and how did that impact production?
It was really important because we wanted to make sure that we were doing the city justice and doing the community justice. And so from a production standpoint, we filmed in Flatbush. We filmed on the lot of like the high school that my moms went to. And so like it was just so cool to be able to film in the local community, around the local businesses. And in terms of the characters, it's just really important for us to make sure that you have the authentic Brooklyn vibe. There's a different swag, there's a different way that we speak. And so we had to make sure that when it came to casting, we had Brooklyn people in the building representing, period.
And y'all sure enough did that. Talk to me about Jasmine. You play the role of Jasmine. How are y'all the same? And I think y'all pretty damn similar, but how are y'all the same? How are y'all different?
We're different because I'm not broke and I don't live on my grandmother's couch. But we're similar in that we don't hold anything back from anybody. Like, she calls it how she sees it. She's not gonna let Kevin get away with things, and that's exactly how I am. Like, I will let you know about yourself very lovingly, but I'm gonna stand up for what I believe in. I'm gonna stand up for my community, and I'm going to fight against gentrification because that's what I do. So that's how we're alike.
You're bringing some of your background. We all bring parts of ourselves to roles that we play. What do you bring from your background to play this character?
Well, I think being from Brooklyn and being a Caribbean immigrant, my parents are Caribbean immigrants. So being a first generation American, just having that perspective, we speak differently, we talk differently, there are different slangs, there's a different vibe, there's a different rhythmic way that we speak. Like, people will know, even though I speak like I'm from Brooklyn, they'll be like, that's a Caribbean girl. And keeping those parts of me a part of Jasmine was really important.
One of the marks of the show, one of the things to me that gives it its grit and its beauty is the raw comedy. You know, what's the benefit of using humor in the way that you do? Because y'all talk about race, you talk about social issues, gentrification, appropriation, but you do it in a way that keeps us laughing. How important was it for you to use comedy as a vehicle to do this and not make it like, you know, use another mode?
Well, I think because the co-creators are stand-up comedians, Kevin Iso and Dan Perlman, they come from stand-up, and I'm also a stand-up. The character that plays Kareem on the show, he's also a stand-up comedian. And so I think that's Yamanika, she's also a stand-up comedian. And so with stand-up, that's our job, is to bring levity to serious situations. And so when you are writing a show and you're a stand-up comic, some of that is in your perspective, and that's how you approach the work. So we know how to make serious topics funny. That's just the language that we speak.
No, that's it, man, and that makes the topics accessible. It makes people want to dive into them more, and honestly, it resonates in a whole different way. And now this show started as a web series project, and web series projects are different than TV projects. You know, what's the difference between writing and interpreting for the TV screen instead of writing for the internet?
Oh my goodness, so many things. For the TV, first of all, there's a budget. So a lot of decisions are decided about where you can and can't. What your budgets are. So that's the thing. There's limitations. But even with a web series, you don't have no budget at all. So it's real guerrilla, like you're just running up in Washington Square Park with your cameras, hoping the police don't shut you down. But I think that you have to think about the characters and more of the arc and who they are in a different way. And it has to sustain itself for 10 episodes, even in the first season, and it has to be able to live for 3 additional seasons after that. And so I think being able to do it as a TV show allowed us to expand the world and expand the characters in a way that was so much more fun, because for the web series, it was just like 5 to 7 minute episodes. And now we have 30 minutes a week to tell a story. So that's dope.
Are you surprised at the level of feedback you've gotten, at the level of love that you've been getting for this?
No, I'm not going to lie, because the Brooklyn in me came out.
Thank you.
We're really, really grateful. And I do look, they tell you don't look at the comments, but I do look at the comments. And so I'm overwhelmed by how many people love it. But I'm not surprised, because we went through every painstaking detail to make sure that we were being authentic and being honest. And one of the co-creators, Kevin especially, was always making sure that we kept the integrity of every single character. There's Nigerian characters, there's Trinidadian characters, what felt right for the young kids. Like, you know, we have high school students. We wanted to make sure that we were authentically like talking to high school students. So I would talk to like my friends' kids, because they in high school now, or like my brothers. And like we had our ears to the streets making the show.
Wow. Well, y'all made that thing right. Talk to me about some other stuff going on in your world, because what I love about you is that you don't just make art, you also try to make change in the community. Your Kwanzaa Crawl, it was an event that raised a lot of money for Brooklyn and Harlem. It shined a light on Black-owned businesses. Talk to me about the event and why it was important to do something like that.
Oh, sure. Kwanzaa Crawl is my baby. I think it's really important for Black people to support each other and for us to have economic empowerment, which is why I also love Uncle Bobby. Shout out to you and your bookstore. But I think it's very important that that we support the businesses in our community so that the Black dollar can circulate. And so the idea about Kwanzaa Crawl started with, one, celebrating Kwanzaa. We had to like make Kwanzaa cool again, because I think we're all woke now, and part of being woke means looking back at things that we might have dismissed before. And for me, Kwanzaa had the tools to like Black empowerment and Black upliftment. And so combining Kwanzaa with a crawl that stimulated economic empowerment in the community, and to come together to be turned for a good cause, it just seems like a no-brainer to me. And so I'm really grateful for that opportunity. And people come dressed up in all that Black stuff, HBCUs.
It's an amazing thing you're doing, and you're right. It should be a no-brainer, but so many people just focus on themselves. They just focus on, you know, their career. But when you think about what ultimate success looks like for you, I know you're gonna have a bunch of Oscars and Tonys and all that stuff. But what does ultimate success look like for you?
It looks like being happy and giving back and leaning into gratitude and just being able to create. Like, it's not about the money or the fame. It's just about creating opportunities for people that look like me, for giving my folks jobs, for putting money in our pockets, and elevating Black consciousness, period.
Wow, that's it. Well, and that's the long term. In the short term, what's coming up for you? You've been killing it on screen and off. I know you got a million more projects coming up. What's some stuff we can expect from you in the upcoming year?
Well, I am in the process of pitching my own TV show, starring, written, created by me, which I'm very, very excited about. And I am working on a stand-up album. So that's coming too, because I'm a stand-up and I love it.
So
Mark,
the stand-up album, I can't wait.
So sorry, I did warm-up at your show, at your live show. I did warm-up one night when you had Tyree from Atlanta as your guest, and I never forgot it. It was so much fun.
Wow, yo, That is so crazy. You know, it's funny. Like when you do TV, sometimes you have warm-up acts. And I used to actually host at the Stand in New York with Amanda Seales. We used to do stuff. And so we would have the smart, funny, and black comedians come in too. And so I bumped into so many young, brilliant comedians. And I have never been around more black, brilliant comedians than in New York. And especially from Brooklyn, man. Y'all just got something else. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just the conditions. I don't know if it's the water. I don't know what it is. But y'all are amazing. And I never forgot how funny you are, how talented you are, and how committed you are, and how much you love us as black people, man. So I'm just so grateful for you, and I'm so proud of all of your success.
Thank you. I'm so grateful for you and all the work that you have been doing and continue to do. You make me so proud.
Oh, thank you, my sister. All right, everybody, make sure you check out Flatbush Misdemeanors. It airs Sundays at 10:30 p.m. on Showtime. You do not want to miss it. Watch it, DVR it, tell your mom and them to watch it. We got to make sure our black people stay strong, stay employed, stay booked, stay busy. Anyway, everybody, stay with me.